over your terms in Congress so far, what do you think are your most important contributions? What are you most proud of in terms of your track record?
For me, it's the day-to-day business of the office here in the district, because our number one goal is to provide our constituents the services that they need, whether it's Social Security, whether it's immigration, whether it's representing their issues that are vitally important in terms of health care and other areas. Constituency service is the bread and butter of your office, and I think we're second to none in that area.
Congressman, if you're reelected, what is your agenda for the next session? What is your plan?
Well, I have always had three priorities in the almost 15 years that I've been a member of Congress. The first one was the border. That's my expertise. People look to me for leadership on that issue on both sides of the aisle. They want my opinion on border issues, border security, immigration, those kinds of things. So that's been one priority I've had all along. The second one has been education. My dad always told us that people could take away your possessions. They can take away your money, your car, your home, any kind of possession, but they can never take away your education. And the education is key to your ability to rebound and to provide for your family. So education has always been very important to me. That's why I was proud to stand up against Governor Perry when he flim-flammed the federal money that was supposed to go to the school districts, and he used it for the rainy day fund of Texas. And that's why I stood up to him again when we put the Texas language saying, Governor, we're not going to stand by and allow you to shortchange our students, our children, and our schools. And the money, because of that language, came directly to the school districts. So education has always been one of those three priorities. The last one is rather obvious, and it's national security. Why? Because we've got what I think is the major military facility in the country. In the not too distant future, this Fort Bliss is going to be the most important military installation in the country. It's strategically located in the middle of the 2,000-mile border with Mexico. It will grow to unprecedented capacity to be able to train anyone and everyone. We all know today our challenges, by and large, for the next few decades are going to remain in the Middle East. What better place to train than here in the El Paso region? It looks a lot like the Middle East. People can get, or soldiers can get accustomed to going into by training as they're going to deploy into those kinds of areas. It accounts for about 60% of our economy. One of the things that I think affected me most when I first campaigned for this office was the impact that the North American Free Trade Agreement had on our community. We were primarily a garment industry economy. We were decimated. Over 55,000 jobs lost. People that were doing well, providing for themselves and their family, all of a sudden were zeroed out by free trade and displaced and out of a job. One of the things I committed to doing was diversifying the economy. And back then, because Fort Bliss was pretty much on the ropes, it couldn't pick up the slack. Today, with the growth to somewhere around 47,000 troops, along with the high-tech capabilities that will support the 1st Armored Division, an aviation brigade, a transportation brigade, all that will require the type of high-tech maintenance that will bring jobs here to El Paso. So I think we've done, in the last 15 years, done a very good job of diversifying the economy, while at the same time being able to point out to companies that want to relocate here that this is the place they want to be, because El Paso represents success in all the different categories.
Congressman, the first part of your answer I thought was particularly interesting because going back to a critique laid out by your opponent, one of the things that he said was Congressman Reyes hasn't taken the lead on a lot of issues, and he specifically pointed towards immigration reform. How would you respond to that critique?
Well, I would say talk to President Obama, talk to President Clinton, talk to Leader Pelosi, Majority Whip Steny Hoyer. You know, if all of this is going around you, if all of this is playing out and you're taking a nap, it's not up to me to wake up Rip Van Winkle. It's the ability to acknowledge what you're able to see. And again, I have taken my legislation and moved it forward, attaching it to pieces of legislation that are moving. I can point to, in one area, to the $600 million border emergency package last year. I led that effort. I advocated for the 500 officers for the bridges. The Senate.
I'm sorry, for the bridges, is that Customs and Border Patrol?
Right. It's CBP. They're called CBPOs, Customs and Border Protection Officers, but they are the legacy inspectors that today we've got over 30% vacancy in those ranks. So I've been leading the charge because they're very important to our trade and commerce. They're very important to our ability to keep people moving along the border. El Paso's not the only one that's affected, but I'm the one that's leading the charge for the whole border. The Mayor's Coalition, the County's Coalition, the Border Caucus can all tell you that with my background and my expertise, I'm the leader in that area.
Congressman, how do you balance immigration reform and national security? Those were two parts of your previous answer. How do you balance those two? I ask because you're a former Border Patrol Sector Chief, so probably uniquely qualified to speak with authority on that particular issue. So how do you balance the two?
Well, it's not a question of balancing. It's a question of understanding that they're part and parcel to the security of this country. I have often made the case and made the argument that in our country we've got, depending on whose figures you use, from 9 to 12 million plus people. That creates a whole shadow world. Nothing drove that home to me more than my time on the Intelligence Committee, and particularly the 4 years that I was chair of the Intelligence Committee. That shadow world facilitates the movement of people that come into this country not to look for jobs, not to join their families, but to try to find a way to hurt us. And so, for me, the obvious case is let's have comprehension. Let's have comprehensive immigration reform. Let's give those 12 million people an opportunity to come out of those shadows and identify themselves. That's the only way it's going to happen, is through comprehensive immigration reform. That will reduce that shadow world to a much smaller number, that our intelligence and our law enforcement agencies can do a better job of trying to ferret out those that would be here that we know want to replicate September the 11th, or at least get to as close to that level as possible. That's the best argument for comprehensive immigration reform. Fairness, equity, paying taxes, and all of that, I think are valid in the process or in the argument for immigration reform. But the most fundamental reason should be that it will serve our national security.